It's another beautiful Thursday, very inspiring afternoon here in Accra, Ghana, the west coast of Africa. And it's that time again for our leadership lesson that has to do with the program Leadership 360. It's a beautiful program that has come on for the past 13 weeks. This is the 14th week, and today promises to be yet another exciting program. Today we have a special guest. Last week we spoke about mission, vision, and core values. Today we're going to talk about leadership and service excellence. You cannot afford to miss this program. This afternoon we have that guest that you have every reason to listen to. I am your regular host, Dr. Victor Abbey. Let's take that quick message from our sponsors, Goyle PLC and Abbey Global Consult, and we shall be right back and continue with the conversation.
Guys, no, I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really?
Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, feel me thank you, Mama.
Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Euro 95.
Well up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Cut him.
Hey, go for mami.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Go.
I promise on my honor to be a better leader every day, faithful and loyal to my country, organization, and fellow team members, countrymen and women. I pledge myself to remain true to the core values of integrity and self-discipline through my daily choices and actions. My mind is alert, focused at all times. I shall show respect to everyone always and every time. I remain a better leader and team player always. So I pledge.
Welcome back, cherished viewers and our audience out there, wherever you are watching us from. It is the program Leadership 360. Today is another day. Indeed, we have pledged and continue to pledge to ensure that our commitment to our fellow humans in our country, in our communities, on the continent is supreme at all times. Today is the 14th edition or episode of the show, and we are going to dissect the topic Leadership and Service Excellence. We are live on DSTV channel 277, live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana, and live on VOL online radio as well. If this is your first time of tuning in into this program, just be informed that this program comes alive every Thursday at 2 p.m. or 1400 hours. And there's a playback on Saturday at 13:30 hours GMT or 1:30 p.m. Ghana time. All the previous episodes are available at my personal YouTube channel at Dr. Victor Abbey. You can have a listen to all the excitement that came on the previous shows, from leadership and discipline, leadership by example, leadership across diverse generations, and so on and so forth. Today, we are going to have that discussion on the topic as announced with a special guest. Our guest this afternoon is a multiple local and international award winner in banking and leadership, as well as passionate torchbearer for African women empowerment. She is an alumnus of SBS, the Swiss Business School, Switzerland, where she obtained a doctorate degree in business administration and a master's degree in applied business research. She is also an alumnus of University of Ghana, where she obtained executive MBA, and GIMPA, Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, where she got her Bachelor of Science Business Administration. She is a management certified consultant with SIPS, Shanghai, Cranfield Management, UK, and Harvard Business School, USA. She is recognized, or she has been recognized and listed among 100 most impactful change makers in Africa 2022. She is among 40 most influential female leaders in Ghana, a customer experience strategist, corporate trainer, and SME consultant with passion for gender financing. He is also a celebrated branch manager with Fidelity Bank Ghana Limited, currently the lead consultant at Tarragon Edge Limited. Our guest is not only an academic, but an author as well. She is the author of the books, The Jigsaw Effect of Leaders, and The Diary of the Branch Manager. She is also a co-author of Who Moved My Heels and My Africa, My Destiny. She is also a columnist in the Business and Financial Times newspaper in Ghana. Cherished viewers and audience, in studio with us on set this afternoon is Dr. Mrs. Genevieve Pearl Duncan Obobi. Doc, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Abbey.
And welcome to Leadership 360.
Thank you. I'm happy to be your guest today.
It's our pleasure to have you. Doc, as the saying goes, if serving is beyond you, then leading is equally beyond you. Likewise, the saying that you need to serve to lead. If you flip it around, you need to lead to serve as well. In today's world, where there is high and rapid advancement in technology and economic turbulence is on the rise, and awareness of the need for leadership and all that, when it comes to service excellence, largely it is believed that leaders have a critical role to play in there. And so one cannot pay lip service to that. What would be your initial comments to that?
Thank you. I would say that leadership and service works together, or it goes hand in hand. I love to say it practically. So, for instance, serving to lead or leading to serve, both angles, I would take it from that. The first one is to say that you might be given an opportunity to serve because you need to lead, and you cannot lead without serving. You can also be in the position where you have followers. So definitely you need to act in that position for them to look after you. But what I would want to share is that I remember my early days in Fidelity Bank. I wasn't the branch manager. I was a follower, let me put it like that. I was a staff of the branch. And because I displayed or I showed key leadership skills, it was so easy for me to take the leadership role when the time came. So I would say that being a leader means that serving to lead and then also leading to serve.
That's interesting. That leads me straight to the question. We have brought guests, and we have also discussed on this program the fact that leadership entails certain specialities, if you like. But I would still want to ask you, what in your view is leadership?
Like I rightly said from the beginning, leadership is you being a visionarian and taking charge, going for others to follow. You can lead in different roles. I always use the examples of even home. We lead in different roles at home. We have the role we play as parents. We have the role we play as fathers and mothers. Our kids as children have their own role to play. So I don't want us to look at leadership in the context of just the corporate setting. I want us to look at it practically in the sense that when you are given the opportunity to lead, or you are given the opportunity to take charge, let me use that word, to take charge, you act and others follow. So that is leadership to me. You provide service.
Okay.
You give your best. You develop others. You bring out the best in other people.
All right. So if I get it right, leadership is basically about doing what needs to be done for others to emulate and replicate similar things.
Exactly.
So as you serve, others will copy the service you render and admire from all angles.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. And you, from your profile, you are a customer experience strategist. That relates basically to the service excellence that we're going to talk about. When we say service, what are we referring to?
Service is purely me being there to provide something that you need for you. That is how I would term it.
Okay.
So I am in a position to provide something that you need. And I am doing it with joy. I'm doing it with passion. I'm doing it with love because I love to make sure that you are okay.
Do I sense selflessness in that definition of service, in rendering what is known as service?
That is what service actually should be.
Okay.
But like I said, in practice, we don't see so much of that. We see it to be people rather feeling they are doing you a favor. But that is not what service is. Service is something you do out of passion. Service is something you are giving off, and you need to give off your best. You need to give it at the utmost best. So that is what it should be, selflessness.
So last week, we spoke about mission, vision, and core values. Mission basically has to do with the fact that this is what you set out to do. So if that is what you set out to do, can I connect it to the service, the definition of service so you render that service or you provide that service passionately and selflessly? Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly, because I cannot give you a service and just do it anyhow. You will not have the kind of experience that you should have. And that is what I think today we are going to discuss, the experience bit of service.
All right. That's already we are getting into the space where we're going to have the best out of you. We're just making sure that all the filler, all the knowledge, all the experience, we get it today for our viewers. Now, let's quickly go on to, if we say service is what needs to be done and is done well because it got to be done, what then is service excellence?
Thank you very much, Dr. Abbey. So service excellence is not just, I use this because I'm trying to say that I'm emphasizing on the word experience. Okay. You've provided me with a service. I'm okay. I'm satisfied. But when it's an experience, I go with it. An experience means you exceeded my expectation. You gave me a feel that I would look back to, a feel that I can remember. And that is what, to me, experience it. So right from the beginning of the service, I always use the scenario, forgive me because I've been a banker for years, I always use the banking scenario. So when you enter a space, before you enter the space, definitely, probably you park a car. So I always say that the service starts right from the car park. Okay. The kind of feel that I get from the car park, it might not be anything to do with the establishment I'm entering into, but the experience starts right from that. So if I don't get a great experience and I get to the entrance of the door and probably a very nice security man opens me, salutes me, or greets me, it might change my mindset a bit and say, okay, it's okay. But guess I didn't get a great experience at the car park. I get to the security man who opens me and he's also not too friendly or too nice. That is too negative for a service. So I now go in front of a service personnel or a customer experience personnel. The kind of touch I get from that person, if it is also negative, then right from the beginning, I'm scoring negative, negative, negative. But let me put it on the other scope. I get a very bad experience right from the car park, but then I enter in a very nice, pleasant, nice young man or woman, whichever way, opens me a door, greets me, and probably say, Madam, please, you can have a seat. It gives me another feel. Then I meet a service experienced person or a service person, a frontliner, and that person also gives me a feel. So right there, I have an experience. Then whatever I came to do, I'm done with it. I live with these two very exciting experiences. Then I move up. When I move up, probably I forgot something or maybe something went wrong. So I call back and somebody picks up. The kind of experience I get on the phone, although I'm not physically there, is also an experience. So it's like a channel from 1 to 2 to 3. And then based on the way I feel, I can conclude that it was a great experience or it was a bad experience. Regardless of whether some went good or bad, I conclude. And so that conclusion is up to me, the customer, or the person who experienced that service to conclude. So what I want to add to it is that I would say, if you are providing service and you want it to be called a service that has an excellent experience, then it means you have to go beyond expectation. You have to exceed my expectation. You have to wow me, and that's how I term it. Okay. You have to give me that wow factor or the wow experience. So that is how I would explain service experience for you.
That's quite loaded, and no wonder you are the specialist in that field. So let's quickly explore what are some of the critical factors that determine or underpin negative or positive experience.
Okay, so like I rightly said, it is a series of activities that leads to a positive or a negative experience.
Has it got something to do with appearance or the actions alone, or what underpin?
I would say it's holistic. So let me use a critical scenario again. You walk into a premises of an establishment. Definitely the aesthetics counts. So I see a very beautiful environment, meaning everything there looks clean. I don't see any dirt or things just scattered anywhere, but everything looks very nicely done. So the aesthetics are good. Branding is good. So even locating the place is part of the experience. The directional signs that leads me to the place, I don't get confused. Although there is Google Map, I still would not get confused and then get there straight. What happens is that once I'm there, it's not just about the impressions I'm making. The customer service interface, the people I deal with, the way they talk to me, the way they respond to me in terms of urgency. If you are responding to me and there is a sense of urgency, I can feel it. If you are just laid back and it's like business as usual, I can also feel it. So it's one experience to the other. And then finally, when I leave, like I said, based on the aftermath of the experience I had, if I have concerns, and then we call it after sales service, let me put it like that. Yep. So even your touch point, your omni-channels, whatever you are using to serve your customers out there, your social media platforms, it's all part of service. So I would conclude and say that, when it comes to service experience, it is not just the physical thing I come to meet in your office. After the physical interaction, there are so many other ways that I experience you as a business or a brand. And that goes a long way to tell me if the experience I'm having from you is what I call or I term service excellence or just a normal service.
So I get the impression actions, body languages, support, after service support, instantaneous support, all those underpin excellent service.
Perfectly.
And I want to add as well, which will give me the reason to ask you the next question, will lead me to the next question, leadership as well. Because across board, leaders play a role in ensuring that these actions, body language, support is available.
Exactly.
So what will leaders, or what will you advise leaders across board put their mind to or implement to ensure that excellent service is available to clients?
Thank you, Dr. Abbey. So as a leader, you are the torch bearer. Let me put it like that. You are the visionarian. You cannot have a very pleasant or great vision and keep it to yourself. So the first thing I expect every leader to do in terms of service excellence is that you first of all place the vision before your team, whoever you're working with. It's a team working together to get you the results that you want. Service is not provided by one person. It's an entire holistic activity. So you have a role to play, others have a role to play. So what I would say is that you place the vision right before your team. So we all know what we are talking about. We all know the measurements or the parameters we are looking out for in terms of service. That is one. The second thing is that a leader walks her talk or his talk. So I cannot say I stand for service excellence and then I don't take good care of my internal staff. Who are my internal customers or my internal, let me put it, yes, I have my external, which are my customers, and then my internal, which are my staff. So I exhibit that same response rate, respect, feedback, love, support to the same internal customers. And for me, once you're a leader and you understand that your service is going to guide or create a path, it's going to be like a compass, a roadmap for your team members to follow through, then you get it right that service experience is going to start right from the internal customers. That is how I would want to put it.
So leaders must identify both internal customers or stakeholders and external stakeholders.
Exactly.
And the first concentration must be on internal stakeholders.
Perfect.
So that they exhibit those qualities that will demonstrate
Yes.
what it is that he or the company expects with regards to service excellence.
Yes, because Dr. Abbey, let me just chip in this. You cannot say you are providing excellent service if you are not giving your internal frontliners or people who interface customers not the kind of service you are saying you're giving out there. Because if I am a service provider and I'm not happy with what I do, I'm not motivated, I don't even understand what I'm doing, definitely the impact is going to have on customers is going to be even negatively and exponential. So I would say it starts right from internal customers.
That brings me to the food for thought, even though it's going to be at the end, but you have hammered on it that customer service should not just be a department.
Yes, and this is, I think, by Tony Hicks.
It should be an entire company.
Definitely.
It should be the entire company. We cannot relegate it to just few people, say we are the customer service people. It must be entire across board, because the leader engages the staff or the team members across board. Thank you. Now, I'm going to ask you, let's touch in Africa, in our part of the world.
Yeah.
There has been a general impression that service excellence goes with status. Depending your standing in society, you get the kind of service you deserve or you are given. What's your view? And what can we do to change that if it is a negative thing?
I think right from what you said, it's a negative thing. You don't provide service because of how I look or because of the car I drive or because of how you view me. Service knows no gender, no tribe. It's limitless. I mean, everybody should be given that kind of experience. However, like you rightly said, in Africa, I don't want to even accept that it's just in Africa. I think I'm a bit traveled, or I'm a bit well traveled, and I have seen that it is not just in Africa that service is a problem. Service is a problem internationally as well, but it's just because of the systems that have been put in check. So it makes probably the other parts of the world better than our part of the world. And I would also want to say that when it comes to service, I mean, I am there to get something, and out of that something, you can be paid probably. So Gandhi would say, you are not doing me a favor. I am doing you a favor. So it's like you should have it at the back of your mind that whatever mindset you have when it comes to service, you have to recalibrate that mindset. It has nothing to do with how somebody looks, how somebody comes in. I have worked in a bank, and honestly, a lot of the times, the people that you see that they don't look all dressed up. Let me put it like that. They come in with their very short knickers, or maybe with a cool hat, and you think, who is this? What money does? They are even the real dudes. Let me put it like that. So for me, I would want to express that, look, when it comes to service, everybody is important. Because even if they don't have the money, they might lead you to 2, 3, 4 people that will create that experience that will change your books or will change your bottom line. So we should see service as something that everybody is entitled to, not just rich people or people who we deem fit in society. Let me put it like that.
Right. But I'm going to ask you a follow-up controversial question.
No problem.
That has to do with the fact that in Ghana, it's a hypothetical situation. You have worked in the bank. You have worked in other places. A traditional chief and a teacher, it is not to say the teacher is lower, but just to use that example, hypothetically, that a traditional chief enters the banking hall after the teacher enters, and the teacher is waiting for service. And the chief comes in. The receptionist, knowing that the pomp and all that aura around the chief, attends to the chief, and then the teacher flares up. Will you say the receptionist is wrong?
Okay. To be very practical in answering this question, I'll say that we all know it's a proverbial saying, all hands are not equal. But what I would say is that as much as you need to give some kind of preference to a chief, because in this context we are talking about a traditional ruler. So the person comes in a kind of, like you said, there is an aura. So definitely you feel, I have to attend to this person. But what I would like to share is that we are all equal. And in service, if you want to go that extra mile of trying to serve somebody that you deem high than the other person, the best thing to do is to ask for permission. That is the first thing you need to do. You need to ask permission, because once you are attending to me and you're not done, you don't even have the right to serve, even if it's the MD of the establishment. You need to finish, or you need to ask me for permission before you go to the next person. But in this context, they all are in your space. You've not attended to anyone yet. You are yet to attend to someone. But you know for sure that Dr. Abbey came before Genevieve. But you want to attend to Genevieve because in your quest, I'm the traditional ruler, I look, all gorgeous and all that, fine. What I would say is that you should ask Dr. Abbey for permission. Because when you don't do that, then you've disrespected that other customer. And also maybe to leaders out there, if you have establishment like, let's say, banks or corporate establishment, that definitely you know that you have a mix based on the market or your locale. You have people who work in very high end, and you have people who work in, the middle class. So I think it's very important, like the banks have done, to create a private banking or a prestige environment, so that when you know you fall in this category and you pay for that service, it's not going to be for free. So once you know that you fall in this category, because you are paying extra for it, when you come, you just walk there.
And you expect a certain...
You expect, you don't want to queue. That is one of the key things. They don't want to queue when they come. So these people want to be treated in a particular way. So definitely you pay for extra service. So when we know that you are paying for extra service, nobody feels disrespected. But let me also go back. I remember when I was at my bank, one of the branches, it was at up and down. So most times it's a mix. Anybody can come there. We didn't have a private banking suite there. But the rule is that a leader sets the pace. So I said to my team that, you know what, everybody who walks in here feels special because of the environment we find ourselves in. So now it is up to us to define and handle customers so that everybody feels equal. For any reason, if a customer has to be served over another customer, these are the things we do. You first of all excuse the person. You make the person understand that due to ABC, you need to serve this customer, and you don't make that other person feel little or less of a human. So that is how I want to term it.
All right. Thank you, Doc. It's getting
welcome.
very interesting, viewers out there. I am personally enjoying the discussion, and I believe you are also enjoying it. This is a topic that can go on and on and on and on. We are going to look at the public space as well, public service space, and see what pertains there and how we can turn things around. We're also going to look at the economic perspective of service excellence, how economic turbulence impacts on service excellence as well. But before we continue, let's take a quick break and we shall be right back.
Hima, no be I take a number first.
By you. You have to say take the number give me.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really?
Okay, I dey come. Mame, feel me tank mama waji.
Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Raw 95.
Well up with Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Hima, never see how I try me to one pacho. Ma short to full, Mr. Wa. If you me tank us, I'm about.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him.
Hey, go for na buajo ngwa mami.
Choose Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Raw 95. Go.
Welcome back, cherished viewers and audience out there. It's been great on the Leadership 360 show. We are discussing the topic leadership and service excellence. Our guest in studio has taken us through what leadership is all about, the role that leadership plays in service excellence, what service itself is, what it's supposed to be, where she indicated that service is about doing what one deserves or what you seek to do or what you exist to do and doing it well, and ensuring that all the stakeholders, both internal and external, are very much aware of what the expectations are and are supported. Internal staff or team members must be supported to understand and deliver that service to the expected level of excellence. And that service excellence must also be experienced by external clients or customers. And that is what we're talking about. We have also touched on the fact that culturally, status plays a key role in customer experience or service excellence. And our guests made it clear to us that if there is the need at any point in time to differentiate between two people by way of status, there must be some courtesy towards each one of them. There must be some courteous treatment meted out to all of them by asking permission or by making it clear why one deserves the service before the other. Because in all these, rules of courtesy applies in all our dealings, be it internally and externally. Now, before the break, I indicated, Doc, that public space or public institutions are the key deliverers or those who are in charge of ensuring that sustainable development comes to fruition. Across board, in Ghana especially, not to speak of other African countries, but across board in Ghana, general complaint is that you go to public spaces, that support, that service quality, that level of excellence that you expect is not there. What do you think account for this?
I think basically it's because we have systems. I will not say we don't have systems, but the efficiency of the systems that we have. Service needs to be monitored. Service needs to be accounted for. So when you have a system and the system is not efficient, then there are lapses. So then people would get their own way around it. But I would say if you're a leader and you lead whether corporate, private or governmental institutions or public institutions, I think once we understand the concept of service, we know that regardless of where we are, when systems are broken down, people get to abuse it. So I would first of all say that as a leader out there, you should remember that the systems need to be put right. So I'm talking about systems like feedback systems. So people are giving us feedback. I don't want to mention a name, but we all know. Some time back, we had complaints of a particular public institution in Ghana. And then I'll say 2, 3, or 4 years ago, you call them and now the response, hello, this is Genevieve Pell's Institute, and how may I help you? And the voice alone, you feel is different. And we all spoke about it many years ago. And I think they are still doing well. So I feel it's just a leader who sees that this is not the way to go and it has to be changed. And once leadership knows that this is the vision, whether it's a public institution or it's a private institution, customers that we serve are the people who give us what we get and we pay our staff. And that is period. So if you understand that I feed into your profitability, then definitely service should be rendered and should be rendered well.
Leaders out there, businesses, organizations, what we are discussing is very, very fundamental to your productivity and sustainability. So if you are a leader out there, you need to concern yourself with the level of service or the quality of service that your team members are rendering out there. You must show the way. Our guest mentioned about monitoring. You need to put monitoring systems in place to ensure that what key performance indicators that are set, all those KPIs are being met. Otherwise, you may think things are being done right, but you may end up down the drain.
And just to add, just to make it, put it in context, there are very basic things that we can use.
Yeah, Doc, before you let me quickly open the phone line for our viewers so that they can be part of the conversation. Cherished viewers and audience out there, you can join us to contribute or ask your questions through the phone line 0531-982298, 0531-982298. If you're outside the country, just add +233 and you are good to go. Doc, your point.
Yes, so I was just making the point that there are very basic, it's not anything extraordinary that businesses cannot do. And I'm saying this because I work closely with SMEs, and most times they feel all these systems are so expensive to put in place. No, when it comes to service, a simple feedback form that can be designed so that when people have issues, they just fill it, they drop it in your box, they leave. Now, technology has even made it very easy. We have a lot of WhatsApp platforms, we have TikTok, Facebook. People can always DM you or send you comments to tell you the kind of service they are being offered, whether it is good or it is bad. Another thing is that we have mystery shopping. So there are so many platforms or so many...
Doc, let me cut you in here.
Yes, please.
Mohammed Sadiq from Tamale. Good afternoon and welcome to Leadership 360 program.
How are you, sir?
I am fine, thank you, and I hope you are fine too.
Today I'm enjoying that, I'm very, 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 very satisfied with Doctor.
Thank
the way
you.
she's putting it. And I'm also happy with your question, your leadership question. Let's say you said an important or chief or traditional leader. Actually, even some of this leadership thing, if he is also the traditional leader, respect his own people and have the tradition within himself. when he comes in, you will see that your customer will all sit aside and give him or her way to the place. And I had that experience when in Tambalela here. There was the sub-chief. He came in, he was popular.
I'm loving the presentation, but please be snappy with it for us.
Okay, so anytime he comes into the banquet hall, everybody will give way and he will get there direct. And so that is that one. And as a leader, definitely, that is why I say I'm very happy with her. As a leader, you have to groom your staff to have what you have within them, and you don't have to even let them. You will know that the system are set up is very, very very, very useful, and it is functioning. So,
thank you, Mohammed. That's quite a long presentation. It's a demonstration that you are really enjoying the program. That's good. Our guest said it. Doc, please continue your presentation.
Yes, so I was just making the point that there are very basic systems that every institution, whether public, private, small enterprise, can put in place, whichever fits your budget. But make sure you put something in place for the monitoring and also the accountability purposes. And as a leader, show the way. Like I said, show the way. So you cannot say one thing when it comes to service and provide a poor service to your team members. Okay. Then that doesn't go hand in hand with what leadership and service excellence talks about.
All right. So leadership must know the way and show the way.
That is it.
Bounce from Cheshi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome to Leadership 360 Show.
Yeah, thank you so much. I watched your program last week. I enjoyed it. And today, too, I'm really enjoying your program. Thank you. Doc, for sharing this insight with us. But quickly, I want to ask a question. I'm a pastor, but I want to relate the discussion to a church.
To a church.
How can I, as a pastor of a church, enhance service excellence? Now, Madam made a point. One of the reasons you need to, give an excellence service is that the internal stakeholders will have to be supported to understand the how service needs to be done.
Okay.
Now, in respect to that, how do I, because church, there's nothing like workers working to be paid.
Voluntary.
Workers don't work to be paid. Then how do I create that culture of excellence among my workers so that we can create that excellence, atmosphere for first-timers who come to service and then all that?
Thank you.
How can we relate it to church? Yes.
Thank you. So much. Thank you very much. I think it's an excellent question itself. So, Doc.
Yes, so I would answer this question looking at the team. Although they are voluntary team members, they are not being paid for it. There is something we call motivation. Motivation is not only with money, but recognition. So I always cite the example and say, when I see my face placed somewhere, and I don't even have money to go with it, but then I see my face placed somewhere with a little narrative, great in excellence delivery or best service role model, it will make me overly happy. Somebody might want small money to come with it. Somebody might just be okay with it. Somebody, it will just be just a lunch or probably airtime, 50 cedis airtime. So how I want to answer the question is that no matter the space you find yourself, you can motivate people in different ways. But there should be some level of motivation. Because you see, motivation goes hand in hand with service. Exactly. When I'm motivated, I do more. When I'm motivated and I feel appreciated, I do more. Once in a while, you can even openly say something at church and say, oh, brother so and so or sister so and so, that's a very excellent way when it comes to packing of chairs or sweeping the church premises or decorating the church premises. that alone goes a long way to satisfy the person, although you've not even paid the person.
I can see you have a lot to offer the pastor. But let's take, I guess we have a caller from Tamale.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Doc.
How is Tamale this afternoon?
Fine. Oh.
All right. Welcome to Leadership 360.
Yes, my name is Nuhu.
Nuhu.
Yes, calling from Tamale.
Yes. Your contribution. You are a regular caller.
Yes. Doc, I do enjoy your program very well. Especially today program. It's going down with us.
Thank you.
But my question is, sometimes you see some leaders who are there just, they expect people to serve them, no, they're serving people. You see, because some organization, you see a leader who comes, good leader he will go around to see all his subordinates, greet them, and show some kind of respect to that his subordinate. But you see other person who will just come and go straight to his office without even care about whether those who come early before him to just go and say hello to them. You will just see him go straight to his office, expecting the subordinate they should come and bow down with him or her before you can do they can do any other thing. And I want to ask whether this kind of leadership is actually the best way to go or not.
All right, thank you very much. We have, before I let Doc speak, we have established on this program that indeed leadership is about service. It's about being a servant to others and showing example, being disciplined yourself. What you expect the team to do, you must demonstrate that. Not to go too much into it. Doc, your comment on Nuhu's point.
Nuhu, I would answer your comment by the way you ended. You said, is it good? Definitely it's not good. But what I would share is that there is something I always say is called perception of time. When you pass by, you said you pass by and you just climb or go to your office. When I sit in your environment or your space and I'm waiting to be served, even though you are the leader, when you walk past me and you engage me, hi, good morning, have you been attended to? Even if I've been there for 1 hour, just the mere fact that you passed by and you engaged me, you asked me, have I been attended to? Is somebody attending to me? It gives me a feel, and that feel makes me ask myself, oh, have I been here for that long? Even if you've been there for 30 minutes, you feel it's just 2 minutes. The same way, if you've been there for 2 minutes and everybody keeps passing by you, you feel you've been there for 1 hour. And that's when people will say, I've been sitting here all day, nobody's attending to me. So what I want to say is that a leader is not just that title that you have. You need to serve. And by practice, I can proudly say that I earned a name, branch manager extraordinaire, not just because some people like me and they felt my face looks pretty. No, it's because at a point my office was up and down. But the same level of service I gave when my office was just 1 floor, you see me come up and down all the time, engaging with customers, talking to them, finding out how they are feeling in the banking. And I feel when you do that, it is not just lip service, but you're actually sharing the experience with your customers, making them feel that it's not your task is not just to sit up there and be marking things and be doing, but be part of the service, and then you get feedback from them. If it's not good enough, they get you to help change the situation.
All right. Thank you, Doc. Francis from Ashoman, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome to Leadership 360 program.
Thank you so much. I do enjoy your programs a lot, and thanks, Doc, for the enlightenment. I just wanted to chip in something. You made mention that there are a lot of technological tools to manage affairs, feedbacks, and things like that. And as you speak, there are some companies in the country, or there are some software developers in the country that have a lot of software developed to manage companies, but they don't have the strength to market. And people like us, sometimes we are even willing to give our softwares for companies to use for free for a long time. Let us receive their feedback. If it works for them, then we start charging them something. I wanted to know, is there a program that could announce kind of services out there, because we don't have the strength to market them? So I just wanted to know if there is a service whereby we can also give it for free, and then we get free feedback from them and we get into business with them, anything like that.
All right, thank you. Please, Doc.
Thank you very much. I didn't hear the name, but I'm
Francis.
happy you said this, Francis. I'm a consultant who works closely with SMEs. Although I'm more skewed to women-led businesses, I work with everyone. And I love the fact that you said there are lots of people out there, software developers, who have products, but they've not been able to push it into the market. I would want to say that after the show, you can take my contact from Dr. Abbey, and I would get in touch with you and show you the ways to go. I mean, sometimes it's just about you getting marketed or getting your brand out there. And then, like you said, you start with someone, it goes where, and then there is a word of mouth referral, and then your business can actually be out there. So you will be helped, Francis.
Thank you, Doc. Viewers, let's quickly go on to the WhatsApp platform. And we have Ebo Hansen from Nungwa, who says, great discussion today, Dr. Abbey. But how can we get some of the books displayed, please? So, Doc, these are Dr. Genevieve's books. Doc, how can we get these books? Okay, so for the Diary of the Branch Manager, although it's the branch manager because my past is in banking, it fits everybody who is managing a role. And you can get that by contacting 0244-799909 by WhatsApp or call, and then it can be delivered to you. For that of the Jigsaw, currently it's out of stock physically in Ghana, but you can go on Amazon and make an order, and then it will be delivered. And I think you can also check Accra Mall, the mall pharmacy. Accra Mall should have, I think, a few in stock. All right. Yeah. All right, Doc. Good afternoon, Tamale.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
How are we doing?
Yeah, we're doing great.
All right. Your points, please.
Yes. Yes, I just want to find out from Doc. I have an organization, and I want to really know. Sometimes emotional driven. So I don't know how leading the team. How can I manage my emotions? And then also, I also have some of my teammates that when we are in a meeting, they don't even need to talk, and it's as a result of fear of conflict to criticize or make inputs, and then that may develop into something like. So how can I, as a manager, actually treat this in my organization? Thank you. All right. So I guess your question has to do with managing your emotions and vis-a-vis managing your team. We have spoken about leadership is largely underpinned by emotional intelligence. So I'll leave it for Doc to answer. Okay. How can he manage his own emotions and manage his team members in order to prevent conflict from erupting? So I would answer by saying that once you've identified the problem, it's one step to go. So as a leader, you need to do your own SWOT analysis. You need to know your strengths, your weaknesses, the fears you have, opportunities, and all that. So once you've established that emotionally, sometimes probably your emotions goes out of hand and you cannot manage. First of all, I would say you need to read a bit more about how you can manage your emotions so that it doesn't show up even when you are not in a good shape before your team members. Also, I would like to say that it's important for you to get some sort of accountability partner. As leaders, we don't know it all. So once we establish that we have weaknesses, we get people to actually help us, I'll say, go away from our weaknesses. And I always cite the example of before I became a branch manager, I was a team member. So I was managing people in a different level. When I became a branch manager, I asked one of my team members to sit in front of me and watch me talk. So when we talk, because I love to engage more, I do a lot of talking. But this time, as a leader, I need to do more of listening. So she was just supposed to look at me and know the number of times I interject when she's talking. So the reminder was just to do this. This means that, Genevieve, keep quiet and listen to your staff talk. And I say this because once I realized that was a problem for me, I needed somebody, a checker, to check me. Yeah. That is the first one. The second one is I think we need to create an environment where team members can express themselves. When that environment is not created, they would always be quiet in meetings because they are afraid to speak up because they think they'll be victimized after speaking up in
a meeting. So I think going back, you need to check the systems in place. How free is the environment? How enabling is the environment? Are people allowed to share their views and not feel they are being victimized? When you do that, then I'm sure we are good to go as leaders.
I guess after this program, you can get in touch and we will take you through a more detailed approach to handling the situation. And Doc will be more than glad to do that. Before we continue, let me say there is a caller or somebody who sent, he said, I am privileged for the service. The experience is top notch. Your guest is too much. The experience is really engaging. God bless. The name is CSK. I really don't, but that's the name, CSK. Doc, that's for you.
Thank you, CSK. I appreciate.
On this program, we have always believed and we put out there that for everything to be of class, excellence, it must come with a certain value system or a code. And our guests have spoken about it. Let's take a look at our honor code and then we come back.
I am a proud and firm African. I will take a stand. I will lead and be the change. Come and take my hand. For the safety, honor, and welfare of my country and company come first. Always and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of the people I lead come next. My own ease, comfort, and safety come last. Always and every time.
Welcome back, cherished viewers and audience. It's been great. Doc, in 3 seconds, your final words for us. Briefly, we have less than a minute to go.
All I would say is that for all the leaders out there, if you want to get the best in terms of service, there are a few things you need to do. We just read of an honor code. Have a code, a service code that governs all that you do, and everybody in the establishment is aware of it. Also, have a system where you get to appreciate and celebrate your team members so that they'll be motivated to do more, and serve and serve and serve as a leader so that you walk the talk and then it makes it easier for others to follow. Thank you.
Right. Have a code, have a system in place, walk the talk, and that is what it is. If you are an upcoming leader or business or a student, there is a program coming up on certificate beyond the certificates. Can we have it on the screen? Beyond the certificate is a program, a transformative youth roadshow. Take note of the details, get in touch with the organizers, and I bet you, your experience will be great. There is also a program in Rwanda, coming up in Rwanda, the Hive Crucible Afrique. Take note of the details. If you are a business owner, you want to expand your territories, this is the opportunity for you to get out there. Take advantage of it. All too soon, we have come to the end of the program. Today has been great having you, Dr. Genevieve. We are grateful. So much, and viewers, it's been great having you around. Without you, this program wouldn't have come this far. We are so grateful. Next week, we shall continue our discourse on leadership, where we continue to learn, unlearn, and relearn to accelerate the betterment of our societies and sustainable development of our country and continent at large.